Welcome to the Ultimate Digestive Transformation Show. Imagine waking up with scorching heartburn, feeling bloated like a balloon all day, and nights chained to the bathroom. Tired of pizza and spicy food betraying you? What if an ancient secret ends this agony today? Stick around. This changes everything. Heartburn burns like coals, stealing sleep. Gas and bloating leave you red-faced. Constipation or diarrhea lock you home, ruining plans. Plus brutal fatigue and brain fog from a cold, exhausted digestion. The fix? Rooted in Chinese medicine, it warms your sluggish gut, awakens enzymes, and balances bacteria. Potent herbs like fiery ginger, cinnamon, and immune mushrooms revolutionize it all. Lightness, energy, and freedom to eat fearlessly. Watch now and unleash your digestive warrior. Like, share, and hit the bell. Your revolution starts here.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have been sent just a massive, impressive stack of sources, articles, studies, you name it, and they are all focused on a single, universal frustration: chronic digestive misery. And we're not talking about, an occasional bad meal. We're talking about relentless heartburn, gas, bloating that people describe as so intense they look 6 months pregnant.
Right, and constipation that just turns daily life into this constant calculation of risk and discomfort.
It's huge. And what the source material makes painfully clear is this typical frustrating journey that you, our listener, have likely been on.
It really is the defining discomfort of our age. You've tried the standard fixes, you've rotated through every expensive probiotic on the market, you've choked down enzymes hoping for a miracle.
You've got the antacids or acid blockers as just a daily necessity.
And yet the core symptoms persist.
Yeah.
And it forces you into this half-life that's just defined by the anxiety of eating.
That fear of food.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful image. But here is the central, unexpected argument, the real pivot point in this entire deep dive. It's brought to us by a physician named Dr. Janet Zand. And she's a practitioner who, after seeing the limits of standard approaches, she turned to ancient traditional Chinese medicine TCM for answers.
Right.
So our mission today is to truly understand her claim. The key to lasting digestive relief isn't just about balancing bacteria or neutralizing acid. It's about addressing a profound underlying condition recognized by TCM.
And what stands out immediately is the radical paradigm shift that this requires. I mean, to accept this premise, we have to move away from the standard Western biochemical model.
Which is all about symptom management, right?
Exactly. It excels at localized, acute symptom management, too much acid, block it with a proton pump inhibitor, not enough good bacteria, add more with a supplement. Dr. Zan introduces this concept of internal harmony and the unrestricted flow of that vital natural energy as the non-negotiable prerequisite for digestive health.
Look, the deep conclusion we are being guided toward isn't simply that your system is missing a few enzymes.
No, not at all.
It's that the entire digestive engine has been so profoundly overstressed and mismanaged that it's collapsing.
The sources call it digestive burnout, and TCM practitioners give it a very specific name tied to a very specific set of symptoms: cold digestion.
Cold digestion. That phrase is the core thesis we have to deconstruct today.
It is, and it implies a system that's been so overworked and depleted, like a furnace just running without any fuel, that its core metabolic functions have dramatically slowed down.
It's exhausted, structurally burned out.
That's the perfect way to put it. And that exhaustion manifests as this chronic, persistent discomfort that standard quick fixes just fail to touch.
Because they're treating the symptoms, not the actual cause of the structural failure.
Exactly. They're patching holes in a sinking ship instead of fixing the hull.
So let's start with the misery described in the sources, because it is just so intensely relatable. If you're experiencing this, you know the cycle. You follow the advice, you take that high-quality probiotic, the enzymes, you keep antacids nearby.
But the symptoms just dictate your entire life.
Yeah.
The sources detail these significant physical and emotional costs. We're talking about constant, socially awkward burping and gassiness.
Oh, the bloating.
Yep.
Bloating is a major issue. It's not just discomforting, it's genuinely restricting. People talk about having to change their wardrobe or avoid wearing anything fitted.
Right. And then there's the chronic constipation, which can sometimes swing unpredictably to the opposite extreme of diarrhea. all of this makes planning social activities or travel or even just a normal workday completely fraught with anxiety.
And your diet just becomes this landmine of avoidance. You're systematically cutting out your favorite foods,
Yeah.
dairy, anything spicy, heavy gluten like pizza, or even just large portions of anything substantial.
You are suffering, and the standard symptom masking solutions are failing.
Which leads us right back to Dr. Zan's crucial observation. What are the telltale signs of this cold digestion that Western medicine typically overlooks?
Well, she identifies a consistent pattern that connects these modern digestive complaints back to this ancient diagnosis. If your digestive system is weak and cold, you often present with low energy levels.
That makes sense.
You struggle with weight management, often carrying extra weight around the midsection. And critically, there is that heavy, leaden feeling in the stomach immediately after eating, even a modest meal. The energy required for processing is simply too great.
That post-lunch paralysis. That feeling that you just need to lie down because the effort of moving food through your system is completely exhausting you.
Exactly that. And the sources detail even deeper physical manifestations of this profound internal imbalance. They point to bowel movements that are consistently loose or sticky.
Which indicates what? Incomplete digestion.
Incomplete digestion and the improper processing of fluids. Further symptoms include persistent cold sensations in your extremities, so cold hands or feet, or even numbness in your fingers and toes.
So these are all signs, according to TCM, that the system's core energy, the key, is struggling to circulate properly, particularly within the central digestive organs.
Right. It's a systemic problem, not a localized one.
So we have this diagnosis of systemic collapse or digestive burnout. What are the specific stressors, according to the sources, that lead to this deep exhaustion in the first place?
The sources synthesize two major categories of stress, the behavioral and the chemical. On the behavioral front, it is the very definition of our hurried modern existence.
We eat rushed meals, often on the go, or we eat too late at night right before bed.
We consume unnecessarily large portion sizes, which mechanically stretch and overwork the stomach. You combine this with a chronic lack of sleep, sensory overload from technology, and the unrelenting pressure of general life stress.
And the digestive system is essentially forced to run in perpetual crisis mode.
It's like demanding peak performance from a machine that hasn't had maintenance in years, operating nonstop at its maximum limit.
It's inevitable that it will start to fail structurally.
Precisely. And adding insult to injury are the external and chemical stresses that weaken the system's defenses. A major factor is medication, specifically antibiotics.
Life-saving when necessary,
But they indiscriminately wipe out the friendly protective bacteria, they essentially burn out the digestive ecosystem, and leave the gut vulnerable.
And that vulnerability is then exploited by diets high in refined sugar and white flour.
Which act as the perfect fuel source for pathogenic bacteria and fungi to thrive, accelerating that systemic collapse. So the digestive tract is simultaneously overworked from poor habits and chemically assaulted by medications and diet.
This framework forces us to really engage with traditional Chinese medicine, which provides the intellectual structure for understanding cold digestion. So let's take a big step back and properly define the foundation of TCM and K.
We have to do more than just mention it. Qi, which is pronounced qi, is the fundamental organizing principle of life in TCM. It's defined as the vital energy or life force that circulates throughout the body.
So think of it as the current in the electrical wiring of your house.
That's a great analogy. It regulates all bodily functions, from breathing to thought to, critically for us, digestion. And this energy flows via a sophisticated network of pathways called meridians, connecting all the internal organs.
So if the key is the current, illness isn't just a blown fuse, but a problem with the flow itself.
That's right. In TCM, illness is never an isolated malfunction. It is always the result of a profound imbalance, a weakness, or a blockage in the flow of this key.
Okay.
When we apply this to digestion, chronic issues like indigestion, gas, bloating, and constipation are not random flare-ups. They are loud signals of a systemic disharmony.
A disharmony that has obstructed the energy flow to the primary digestive organs, the spleen and stomach in TCM terms.
Correct. And that causes the entire system to weaken, or as the sources put it, to shut down or fail to properly perform its transformation function.
Now, we can truly understand cold digestion within this context. The sources emphasize this isn't about your literal body temperature. So how do we draw a line between a TCM concept and a Western physiological understanding?
We can connect them using the concept of enzymatic kinetics. When TCM practitioners talk about cold digestion, they are referring to the energetic and functional temperature required for smooth, rapid, and complete digestion.
So it's about the chemical reactions.
It is fundamentally about the temperature sensitivity of the chemical reactions necessary for metabolizing food. If the digestive fire, the key, is depleted, those reactions slow way down.
This is where that physics analogy from the source material is just invaluable for anyone trying to grasp this. It relates back to simple high school science. Temperature and reaction speed.
It does. If you picture a pot of water on a stove, applying heat dramatically increases the activity. The molecules move faster, leading to boiling and rapid transformations.
Sure.
If you take that same water and put it in a freezer, the cold drastically decreases the activity. The molecules slow down, they become static and frozen.
So smooth digestion relies on the stove being on.
It has to be on, ensuring rapid chemical activity between stomach acids and enzymes. If the system is cold, meaning it's fatigued and lacking the necessary energetic warmth for optimal chemical activity, the speed and effectiveness of those digestive reactions are diminished, and that leads to stagnation.
So if the engine is cold and burned out, what exactly happens inside the system? What is the sequence of impairment?
It's a disastrous domino effect rooted in insufficiency. A cold, fatigued system cannot summon the energy needed to produce sufficient stomach acid, and crucially, it cannot produce enough of the necessary digestive enzymes.
And those are the catalysts. They're needed to break down complex food molecules.
Right, and this leads directly to malabsorption, which is where the systemic failure really begins to spiral out of control.
Because if food isn't broken down effectively in the upper GI tract, nutrient absorption tanks.
Precisely. And when your body cannot absorb nutrients, the vital organs, the stomach, the intestines, the liver, the kidneys, they become chronically starved of the energy and building blocks they need. The organs themselves become fatigued,
Which initiates a deeper systemic weakness.
It's a vicious cycle that ensures the body cannot heal itself because the digestive system, the very source of its energy, is broken.
And this lack of breakdown is what results in that extreme description of food stagnation. When the food lingers, but it's not properly processed, the source uses that visceral language. It claims it just sits in your gut and rots, turning into a toxic, festering mess.
And we should pause on that word rots. It's intentionally evocative and it's accurate. When carbohydrates and proteins sit for too long at body temperature, they don't just wait, they ferment and they putrefy.
So the fermentation of carbs produces gas.
Excessive gas, which is your bloating and flatulence, and the putrefaction of proteins creates noxious chemicals and fuels the proliferation of the bad bacteria we discussed earlier. The food literally becomes a toxic internal substance.
And this stagnation, combined with the improper management of fluids and solids, then results in the painful consequences. Chronic, difficult constipation or sudden watery diarrhea.
The digestive system has lost the energetic capacity to regulate its natural function.
So let's contrast that painful cold stagnation with the warm ideal that the sources describe as the goal of the repair process. Because when digestion is functioning properly, it's a seamless, efficient process.
The ideal state demonstrates the harmony that TCM seeks. It starts immediately. Just the anticipation smelling or thinking about food sends signals to the brain that activate the entire cascade.
Salivary glands are ready, stomach acid production is ramping up, bile is flowing.
And the efficiency of the breakdown is remarkable. Enzymes in your saliva immediately get to work on sugars and starches, converting them into glucose, providing instant clean fuel for your body's energy production.
Then, once in the stomach, specialized enzymes efficiently convert proteins into amino acids, the essential building blocks required for tissue repair and maintenance across the entire body.
Meanwhile, bile acid flows from the liver and gallbladder to meticulously break down fats into fatty acids and cholesterol, which are vital for hormonal and cellular health.
All of this happens smoothly and rapidly, allowing the nutrients to be absorbed and the waste to be moved through the colon for smooth elimination. This is the definition of digestive harmony.
And the result, as emphasized repeatedly in the source material, absolutely NO heartburn, N indigestion, NO gas, NO acid reflux. It's a silent, efficient, effortless process.
Which means the goal of Dr. Zan's approach is not symptomatic relief.
No, it's structural and energetic reversal. It is about providing the necessary heat, reigniting that digestive fire, and structurally strengthening the entire system so that it can permanently return to that warm, efficient ideal.
This transitions us perfectly into the core of the solution outlined in the source material. this comprehensive remedy, which relies on a multi-pronged approach of 21 specific herbs, spices, and nutrients.
Right. And it's not a single magic bullet. It's a complex, holistic strategy that works on 5 fundamental levels simultaneously.
That holistic synergy seems crucial. The sources claim that treating cold digestion requires all 5 steps to be integrated.
They are warming, strengthening, boosting immunity, restoring minerals, and replenishing enzymes. We need to look closely at the depth of the ingredients that fulfill these roles.
Let's start with action number 1, providing heat and moving energy downward.
This is the most crucial step for reversing the cold diagnosis. The mechanism is fascinating. It's about forcing the digestive heat to flow correctly downward.
Which means stimulating the internal production of stomach acid and enzymes.
Yes. The warming action effectively creates the optimal temperature environment for the breakdown of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, directly combating that stagnation we talked about.
The sources detail specific warming spices with documented traditional uses and modern clinical support. So we start with ginger root, which is a recognized superstar.
We all know ginger for simple nausea relief, but in TCM, it is a powerhouse. It's used to warm the energy channels, relieving what they call dampness and chill throughout the digestive system.
And that dampness in TCM, that's the sticky, heavy feeling caused by the improper metabolism of fluids, exactly the kind of stagnation we discussed.
That's it. And the sources back this with hard science. They reference research, including studies supported by the National Institutes of Health, demonstrating that ginger actively inhibits the growth of H. pylori.
The bacteria commonly linked to ulcers and chronic inflammation.
Right, so this adds a crucial layer of antibacterial protection alongside the warming effect.
Moving on, we find black pepper, or piper nigrum. It's often noted for its active component, poperin.
Traditionally, it combats an acid stomach, but its key function here is to dramatically boost the internal production of necessary digestive enzymes. If the system is cold and weak, piperine acts as a catalyst to get those enzymes flowing again.
Black pepper also offers a surprising, almost historical benefit related to food safety. The source material mentions a study where compounds in black pepper were found to kill off 25% of common food spoilage bacteria.
Which suggests a built-in defense mechanism that helps the weakened system fight off external microbial threats before they can even take hold.
Next is cassia bark, which is Chinese cinnamon.
In TCM, this is used to warm the spleen and kidneys. The spleen is the organ responsible for transformation and transportation in TCM. It's the metabolic engine. If the spleen is cold, it leads to gas and diarrhea.
So by warming it, cassia bark helps the spleen regain its function. It prevents that uncontrolled fluid movement that leads to chronic diarrhea and reduces gas caused by fermentation.
And the source claims it's a potent inhibitor of intestinal bacteria, making it effective for relieving severe stomach cramps and nausea, which are common results of that putrefaction and gas buildup.
The formula also includes lesser galangal root, a more advanced warming agent.
This one is specifically used to address profound sluggishness, gas, bloating, and occasional nausea by stimulating the controlled release of gastric juices. It's about a gentle but firm internal activation.
Then there is tangerine peel, Citrus reticulata. This provides wetness or moisture, which is key to dissolving that sticky dampness.
And it's specifically noted for decreasing phlegm buildup, which can be an internal sign of fluid stagnation. The source highlights this action as particularly beneficial in combating the symptoms of acid reflux.
And rounding out the warming section is henna bamboo, Philostachys nigra.
This ingredient is included for its powerful free radical scavenging activity. The source refers to published research demonstrating that it stimulates broad antioxidant activity while specifically preventing the oxidation of LDL cholesterol.
So the warming action isn't just about digestion. It's about reducing the systemic damage caused by toxins and inflammation released during that stagnation phase.
Exactly.
Okay, so action number 1 is about energetic restoration, turning the stove back on. But once the system is warm, it needs the structural integrity to maintain that heat. That leads us to action number 2. Strengthening the entire digestive tract.
And the sources argue that digestive burnout fundamentally causes structural weakness.
And that weakness presents symptoms far beyond the gut.
Oh, absolutely. The sources detail the signs. Beyond heartburn and gas, people experience profound fatigue after meals because all their energy is being diverted just to manage the digestion process.
They feel cold easily, and critically, they suffer from cognitive issues, declining memory, or debilitating brain fog.
Because the poorly processed food means the brain is starved of vital nutrients.
We should zero in on the physical structural failure mentioned in the sources, the weakening of the sphincter muscle at the top of the stomach. That muscle is the mechanical valve that keeps food and acid where they belong.
And when the system is chronically weak, that muscle loses its tone. It relaxes. This allows undigested food and stomach contents to flow back into the esophagus, which is what we call reflux.
And this structural failure is aggravated by lifestyle factors, like those large meals that mechanically stretch the stomach walls, causing contents to sit too long and become that toxic bacterial breeding ground.
Plus, we live in a world where we're constantly ingesting pollution, chemicals, and heavy metals. A weak gut is an open door to systemic disease.
Exactly. When the intestinal barrier is weak, a condition often called leaky gut in Western terms, toxins can bypass the defense system and flood the bloodstream.
They attack organs and tissues, triggering systemic inflammation throughout the body. So the goal of this second action is to restore a strong, resilient barrier and ensure the peristaltic muscle movement, which pushes food through the entire 30-foot length of the GI tract, is robust.
Since we can't send the stomach to the gym, the method is herbal fortification, drawing deeply from both Ayurvedic and TCM traditions. What are the key building blocks?
We begin with pomegranate seed, Punica granatum. Its use here is multifaceted. The sources highlight its ability to build and reinforce a strong gut barrier against the invasion of toxins.
Okay.
Furthermore, it acts as a tonic, strengthening digestive activity across the entire tract, stomach, small intestine, and colon. It also supports pancreatic function and helps regulate intestinal movement, ensuring timely and complete elimination.
Then there's cardamom fruit, Amomum cravan. This is a highly fortifying spice.
It is. It strengthens bile flow from the liver and gastric secretions within the stomach, and it promotes kidney function, which is critical in TCM for managing fluid metabolism and internal warmth.
The gastroprotective effects of cardamom are well documented in the cited research, showing protection against bad bacteria, toxins, and even against stomach irritation caused by common medications like aspirin.
It's a comprehensive agent that reinforces the system against multiple forms of assault.
Now, sacred lotus, Nelumbo nucifera. That sounds like a very traditional TCM ingredient.
It is, and its primary role here is to ensure the food keeps moving, preventing that critical stagnation. It enhances nutrient absorption and provides bioactive compounds that specifically support liver and general digestive function.
It helps the intestines efficiently move contents through, which minimizes the time available for fermentation and putrefaction.
Right. And finally, diglycerinated licorice, or DGL, which has a recognized history in Western herbalism for stomach disorders.
Its inclusion is a nod to clinical validity.
It is. The sources note that DGL is listed on the German E-Commission monograph, which is a recognized regulatory body, as an approved treatment for digestive disorders. This lends significant credibility to its traditional use for strengthening and soothing the stomach lining.
It acts as a structural balm after years of burnout and inflammation.
Yes. This combination of herbs ensures the structural integrity necessary for long-term health is restored.
So, we've warmed the engine and rebuilt the walls. That structural strength leads us directly to action number 3, boosting immune power with medicinal mushrooms.
The fundamental claim here is that a healthier, stronger gut forms an impenetrable barrier against systemic disease.
The sources introduce a powerful, certified organic complex of specific medicinal mushrooms, Hericium, Maitake, and Poria.
And the core mechanism is leveraging a specific component found in high concentration within these fungi, beta-glucan.
Beta-glucan is the critical molecule. How does that translate into immune power?
High doses of beta-glucan act as powerful immunomodulators. They specifically activate the body's natural killer, or NK, immune cells. These NK cells are part of our innate immune system, always on patrol.
And when activated by the supplement, the sources claim they go on high alert.
A search and destroy mission throughout the body.
And the mission targets what?
Toxins, viruses, harmful bacteria, and crucially, abnormal cells. It's the body's internal defense system being militarized and given high-octane fuel.
So this action not only defends the gut structurally, but also ensures that any threats that slip past the barrier are immediately dealt with before they can cause wider systemic damage and inflammation.
It's a crucial defense against the consequences of a weak barrier.
Let's break down the specific roles within that mushroom complex. Hericium, for example.
Hericium, often known as lion's mane, is specifically included to support the liver and aid with systemic detoxification. The liver is the body's primary filter, and if the gut is weak and leaky, the liver is overwhelmed by incoming toxins. Hericium supports this vital organ in handling the increased toxic load.
Poria.
Poria is prized in TCM for its ability to manage dampness and enhance healthy digestion in the upper GI tract. It assists in water metabolism, ensuring fluids are processed correctly and don't contribute to that sticky, heavy feeling of stagnation.
And Maytake.
Maytake is cited for broader metabolic support, promoting healthy blood sugar and cholesterol levels. The sources even note its potential role, according to some research, in fending off the harmful effects associated with chemotherapy.
So it's an ingredient that addresses both gut health and the wider metabolic issues that often accompany chronic digestive dysfunction.
Exactly. This blend ensures that the gut is not only rebuilt, but actively protected against threats.
Which brings us to action number 4, restoring mineral balance and stopping sugar cravings. The sources identify 2 critical minerals where deficiency is endemic, particularly among adults: zinc and chromium.
Zinc deficiency is pervasive and it severely impacts digestion. While it's known for immune health, the sources stress that zinc is absolutely necessary for producing the enzymes that break down carbohydrates.
So if you are low on zinc, you are automatically hindering the entire digestive process, regardless of how many external enzymes you take.
It's a foundational requirement.
Then we arrive at chromium, included specifically for its ability to alleviate sugar cravings. This is more than just a diet benefit, isn't it? It connects back to the root cause of the bacterial imbalance.
It is entirely strategic. Sugar and refined carbohydrates are the primary, most powerful fuel source for the proliferation of bad bacteria and fungi throughout your digestive tract.
When we consume these things excessively, we are literally feeding the pathogens that cause stomach upset, gas, pain, and contribute to inflammatory bowel conditions.
And the sources warn about the potentially severe consequence of this unchecked sugar-fueled overgrowth, Candida albicans. And this isn't just a simple yeast infection. The sources link it to debilitating issues like chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, and memory loss.
This is a critical point that satisfies the deep dive promise.
It is. In this context, Candida is often seen as a consequence of the systemic weakness, a trash collector thriving in the environment of low-chi and undigested food. By restoring chromium levels, you gain metabolic control that starves these pathogens of their primary fuel source,
preventing the internal toxification that leads to those cognitive symptoms.
That's the goal. By restoring optimal levels of zinc for enzyme production and chromium for reducing sugar dependency, the body achieves 2 goals: enhanced digestive efficiency and better internal bacterial balance.
And the sources suggest a very practical, welcome side effect for many sufferers: easier weight loss.
As the reduction in cravings and improved carbohydrate digestion allows those stubborn, stress-related pounds to start melting away naturally, that holistic outcome is what distinguishes this approach.
You fix the root systemic weakness, and multiple, seemingly unrelated symptoms, from brain fog to weight gain, begin to resolve themselves. Which finally brings us to action number 5, replenishing missing enzymes. This is the tactical deployment of what the cold digestion diagnosis highlighted as an absolute deficiency.
The sources explain that this is a predictable necessity for 2 main reasons. First, your body's natural production of digestive enzymes dramatically declines with age.
And second, the modern diet, heavy in cooked and processed food, provides no natural enzymes, as heat destroys them.
So if you are burned out and eating a standard diet, you are guaranteed to be enzyme deficient.
And the sources make a strong claim about the quality of the enzymes provided, noting a blend of naturally derived, filler-free digestive enzymes with guaranteed potencies.
The guaranteed potency claim is important for quality control. It means the user is assured that the promised enzymatic activity, the ability to break down molecules, is delivered, ensuring they effectively address the deep enzyme deficiency inherent in cold digestion.
And this blend covers all the necessary categories: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. The efficiency boost is tremendous.
It is, because it doesn't just ensure smooth digestion and prevent stagnation. It maximizes the secondary, highly valuable benefit, helping you absorb more nutrients from all the food you eat.
So any other supplements or prescription medicines you're taking are also utilized far more effectively.
The system is made receptive, warm, and efficient across the board.
We have completed the deep dive into the 5-point plan, moving from a single symptom like gas to a comprehensive strategy designed to reverse systemic burnout, covering internal warmth, structural fortification, immune defense, mineral rebalancing, and enzymatic support.
The sources are careful to reiterate that this is fundamentally a structural repair process, not a temporary fix like an antacid. This formula is designed to repair and strengthen the system over time by addressing the root energetic cause, the cold digestion.
But despite being a long-term repair, the sources claim that the results can be felt quite quickly because the system is so starved for the correct input.
They state that the majority of people notice a significant difference. Less gas, less bloating, less indigestion within the first 30 days, often almost immediately.
And for those dealing with more entrenched, chronic issues, like years of severe constipation or agonizing acid reflux,
the repair requires consistency, but improvement is still expected rapidly, often within a few weeks to a month before the dramatic difference is undeniable. Crucially, the sources emphasize that the results last and improve because the underlying root cause, the structural weakness and coldness, is being permanently resolved.
and the testimonials provided illustrate the powerful range of these claimed fast-lasting results. We have Diane Q of New Jersey, who reported relief from chronic constipation and bloating after just 2 weeks, allowing her to eliminate her reliance on daily laxatives.
Then there is Jack N. of Colorado, for whom acid reflux became a thing of the past within 2 weeks. This allowed him to finally sleep through the night without pain and joyfully resume eating favorite spicy foods, something he had abandoned years ago out of fear.
Carol W. of California noted that the churning, uncomfortable feeling in her gut and the insane heartburn she suffered from completely vanished, taking the constant gassiness with it.
And perhaps the most immediate proof of concept is Phyllis J. of Texas. She specifically mentioned feeling a soothing warmth in her stomach from the very first dose, which she credits with immediately stopping her recurring gas and diarrhea.
That feeling of immediate warmth speaks directly back to the core TCM thesis.
It does. The fundamental contrast here is that by addressing the underlying coldness and structural weakness of the entire digestive system, the body is empowered to restore its natural, efficient functions. This removes the need for continuous symptomatic treatment, the antacids, the constant laxatives, the acid blockers.
The body is an expert self-regulator.
It just needed the energetic and structural integrity restored to the engine room.
So we arrive at the end of this deep dive, having followed the thread from chronic discomfort to a radical, multi-action solution rooted in ancient wisdom. But this approach offers much more than just a comfortable stomach. If we accept the premise presented in these sources, that chronic digestive issues are rooted in digestive burnout and qi obstruction, and that fixing this systemic weakness resolves symptoms that range from painful reflux to memory problems, what might this holistic approach imply for other chronic health issues?
That is the crucial, provocative thought we need to consider. Since the sources directly connect digestive weakness to issues like brain fog, memory loss, and stubborn weight gain, it asserts that the gut's health is intrinsically tied to neurological and metabolic function.
Right.
If the standard Western medical model typically approaches these chronic conditions in isolation, treating depression with one prescription, obesity with another, and reflux with a third, what fundamental shift in perspective occurs if we instead view all these chronic, non-acute conditions through the unifying lens of qi obstruction and deep organ fatigue?
It challenges us to move beyond treating isolated symptoms
And truly explore the far-reaching, holistic implications of TCM's definition of internal harmony across all body systems. If the engine is cold, nothing runs right, and perhaps the key to solving modern chronic disease is simply turning the heat back on.
Did you know that to truly bulletproof your stomach against heartburn and acid reflux, you would need a diet that borders on the impossible? Ancient wisdom and modern science agree. There are 5 specific superfoods that, when combined, act like a fire extinguisher for gastritis. But there is a major problem. To get the medicinal dose required to actually heal your digestion, you couldn't just sprinkle these as spices. You would need to consume absurd amounts every single day. You'd have to chew on a raw ginger root, burning your mouth, with every meal. You'd need to eat bitter tangerine peel instead of the sweet fruit. You'd have to swallow spoonfuls of pure black pepper, risking irritation and sneezing fits. You'd need to source and prep fresh galangal root and cassia bark daily. Honestly, no one can keep this up for more than 2 days. It's expensive, it tastes terrible, and it's way too much work. This is where the secret breakthrough comes in. Naturalist doctors found a way to isolate just the essential oils and active compounds from these 5 ingredients, removing the bad parts, the harsh taste, the burning sensation, and keeping only the digestive potency. Imagine having the anti-inflammatory power of 2 pounds of ginger and spices, but concentrated into a tiny capsule with 0 taste. That is exactly what the integrative digestive formula does. It warms up your digestion and dissolves food like potent acid, but without you needing to turn your kitchen into an alchemy lab. Stop suffering through crazy diets. The secret has already been bottled for you. Click the link below to see exactly how this specific combination works.